Hi everyone, it is Abigail of the Black Book Space. I'm here today to talk to you about a book that I finished, which is called Sister Gumbo. I wanted to take some time to really focus on this book because it took me such a long time to finish it, and I really wanted to dedicate some time to celebrate the book. So if you're interested in hearing what this book is about, it's kind of steamy, gives really good advice, come back in a moment so we can talk about it. So welcome back. I hope you took the time to subscribe to my channel. If you are a lover of books by Black authors, this is a great channel for you to subscribe to. I talk about books once a week on this channel. So the book of this week is Sister Gumbo, spicy vignettes from Black women on life, sex, and relationships. So I was thinking about talking about all of the books that I read last month in July, but I decided to just focus on this one because it was really deep. And I feel like it's one that is pretty underrated. Like, it's not one that you hear a lot about. It's all about advice from women over several age ranges about sex and affairs, marriage, motherhood, different things like that, dating. So there's a lot of funny dating stories in here. When it comes to Black women, I feel like we're always painted in one way when it comes to love. We're always looking for love. We're not really painted in the light of having a very beautiful and stable relationship. That often happens based on what we're watching, right? So if you're watching something in Hollywood, of course, that's the way that we're painted. This book gave a lot more of a realistic picture of what really goes on in our lives, because they were talking to actual women, what they thought about dating. So this was a really funny quote in here. There was one lady who went by Vicky, who they described her as a 40-something. She was talking about going out on a date with someone, and she said he had his pants pulled up to his chest and was just standing there looking crazy as hell, and here I was about to go out with him. Damn it, Vicky grimaced. So I think we can relate to a lot of this, because this kind of just showed me how a lot of times we talk about this. Sometimes guys don't put in the effort that they should when it comes to their appearance. They just kind of come out in the sweatpants, like an oversized shirt, a hat, and it's like, it's so hot outside, why are you wearing a hat? And ladies, like, we really make sure to make sure we look our best. And a lot of times it's interesting when I watch a lot of dating shows how much women really do conform to the idea of what beauty is from a man's standpoint. And that really bothers me sometimes. And it seems like I wasn't the only one who felt this way, because a lot of other ladies in the book kind of talked about it too, just based on what they had experienced in their dating life. So again, it talks about ladies from all over. It's kind of like sitting with your sister and just talking about all your different dating stories. So this one lady, Miss Nora, is 60-something. Miss Nora is a lady I've known since I was a child. She moved into the house next door to us after divorcing her second husband and leaving Arkansas with her 2 daughters. She kept us kids cool and happy many a summer day with her Dixie cups and homemade ice cream. When I entered her home and followed her into the kitchen, my eyes immediately went to her kitchen counter, where she used to keep a box of ice cream cones, an ice cream dipper sitting in a little bowl of clean water, and a jar full of the change she earned from selling her confections in the neighborhood to the neighborhood children. So this woman is an entrepreneur that the author has known a very long time. She admired this woman enough to go to her and get some advice about dating, and just kind of pulled in some information about her personality. We are multifaceted beings, and like I said, in Hollywood and a lot of the shows that we see on television, Netflix, wherever, we're always painted in the same light. This book really opened everyone's eyes, I feel like, to the different dynamics of being a Black woman. It isn't only one thing, and that is why I really enjoyed this book and highly recommend that you grab yourself a copy too. Check out the cover. I feel like it's so pretty. Really cute with like the different lips on there. It just paints us in a different light. This book was written by 2 Black women who really wanted to define for themselves what a Black woman was, and we're not all the same thing. I think my favorite part about the book is the fact that so many different age ranges are asked about information to do with dating and love and all of these things, because a lot of times women over a certain age aren't considered sexual beings anymore, which is completely unfair, or aren't considered women who want to be in relationships. That's completely unfair. And this book really dove into the importance of seeing everyone in a way that you're still beautiful. You can be in a relationship. You can do completely whatever you want. That's why books like these are really important. Let's talk about something that these ladies had to say about affairs. So stepping out on your partner. This woman's name is Marcella. She is a 40-something. She said, affair? Marcella looked at me like I just lost my mind asking her a question like that. If I'm married and see another man I want to be with, that I shouldn't be with my husband. Not if that's how I feel. Why do you want to stay with your husband if you want to be with another man? I don't understand that. There are lots of times you don't want to make love with your husband, but if you don't do it, somebody else will. I was talking to a friend the other day and she said, all my husband wants to do is have sex. I said to her, well, what else is he going to want? Why not? He gives you everything. He does everything for you. And if he ever finds somebody else that wants to have sex as much as he does, he's going to leave you. So I don't necessarily subscribe to this, which is why, again, I really like this book, because there are opinions in here that are different from mine. It opens my mind a little bit. I really feel like a lot of this has to do with communication. If you have a partner that is willing to step out on you, in my opinion, they are willing to put your life at risk. And it's not just about physical attraction or being with someone else physically. The emotional aspect goes in there too. And we talk a lot about energy on this channel. Things like that, those connections that people have create soul ties, and they create energies that you often have a difficulty fighting off. That's why affairs are a lot more difficult to get rid of than we think. Like it's beyond just a physical situation. And of course, in addition, all of the STDs and things out here, you really are putting that person's life at risk. So it's more to me than just saying, well, I find that person attractive, I'm going to go have sex with them. It's a consequence to me that just leads to a road of like lies, deceit, pain, sometimes even death. You don't know. People don't know. You do not know what people are capable of. I had to let somebody know that. But you don't know what people are capable of. Anything could happen if you're just kind of thinking of it as, well, I don't want to be with this person anymore, so I'm not going to tell them. I'm just going to go sleep with this other person instead. Anything could happen. You all have seen episodes of Snapped, I'm sure, where people decide to take matters into their own hands and severely hurt their partner and the person that they're stepping out on them with. It never ends well. So that's just one example of why it's really important to communicate with your partner what your needs are rather than just stepping out on them. And I think it's also beyond just saying, if you don't do it, then someone else will. It's an easy conversation to have. Hey, why aren't you doing this anymore? Is there something wrong? What do we need to talk about? Do we need to go on some type of fast? Like, what's going on? Communication, I feel like, is the biggest key to a relationship. So while I don't necessarily agree with what she's saying, if that is her experience, then that is wonderful. But I really loved this book. This is probably my favorite part of the book. What are we without our friends? I know that, I've been in the same area in Arizona for quite a while. When I first moved here, it was completely different. I really did not like it. I like it a lot more now. And I think one of the things that really helps out is having really good, solid friendships and sisterhoods. And this book talks about that too. Sisterhood in the Black community is really, really important. We have our friends that we go to for advice, we go to for brunch, recipes, gossiping, laughs. I have all of those people in my life, and it helps me out so much. I'm so grateful for all of them. So Miss Dolores, who's 50-something, Dolores is one of my all-time favorite names. She said, I had a friend who was very dear to me. We'd known each other since first grade. She called me one day and said her husband had left her. She needed me to co-sign a note to help her get a loan. It wasn't a big deal for me, especially since I knew it would help her out, because I knew she'd help me if I needed it. So what do you think? Would you do something like that? Comment below and tell me if you'd ever co-sign something for a friend. I honestly don't think I'd feel very comfortable asking a friend to do that. I feel like that's more of a family member thing or a spouse thing, but let's see what she says. I signed that note and ended up having to go to court and pay cash for whatever it was she'd bought with that money because she never made one blank payment. I paid an attorney to locate her. but he wasn't able to find her because all he had was her social security number, and she was never one to work. I just couldn't believe she'd do that to me, do me that way, because she was my lifelong friend. Okay, so this was not the best example to read, but it kind of talks about friendship. And again, that idea of communication. It's so important for us as human beings to communicate with each other. It's important to be honest when it comes to thinking that you're going to step out on your partner, or you're not emotionally connected to them anymore. Communicate with them and let them know. When you have a friend that is doing something really nice for you and you can't make the payments or something like that, communicate with them and let them know. Don't just leave them holding the bag. I feel like communication is one of the most important things to life. I cannot stress enough. So that to me was the, I feel like kind of hidden theme in this book. A lot of the things that came up could have been solved from communication, and people communicate more, and those that had the best relationships and wonderful things going on communicated really well. So I highly recommend this book, Sister Gumbo. It's one that I most likely would celebrate again in an epic book chat, because it has so many different things to talk about in there, from friendship to affairs to dating life and being married and raising little ones, all this kind of stuff, things that have to do with women. It's really important. So there's something else I do want to read. I almost forgot about this. This was probably one of the most important parts. And I keep saying that about everything. And it's about self-image. So how do you see yourself? Do you think that you're a beautiful person? Do you need to change something first before you feel beautiful? Self-image and self-concept is really important, and something that you can change with your mindset. So I wanted to read this because I liked it a lot, and I think that self-image is something that comes up a lot when it comes to women in general. Ayoka is a 30-something, so I identified with her a lot in this book. She said, I've settled for most of my life. She's just kind of talking about relationships and things. She said, I think very highly of myself, maybe too highly, but if I don't, who will? I'm smart. I'm a good person. I don't do anything bad. All in all, I think I'm pretty dull. So the self-concept and your self-image is how you present to the world. Believe it or not, how you think of yourself really does comes outward. It's not just about, okay, well, I don't think too much of myself, so I dress really sloppy, or I do this or do that. No, like, it really does come out energetically as well. If you think that you are a brilliant, beautiful human being like you are, then that comes out, and it really attracts those same types of people back to you. And if you really have very low self-esteem, or you really are really down on yourself a lot, it'll attract those types of people into your life too that may want to take advantage. So, I'm not saying that I'm an expert in this by any means, but I do think it's something that's worth exploring. And I'm really happy that this book talked about it, because when it comes to self-image in the media and Black women, it's such a crazy situation. There's so much that we still are dealing with. But there are a lot of things that I've decided that I no longer deal with. I decide for myself what I think of myself, love myself. I get crazy comments on YouTube all the time. And I troll the trolls, so it's completely okay. And I'll do the same thing for you if you like me to. And your comments, no issue at all. But as a belly dancer, as a Black belly dancer who right now is suffering from alopecia, my self-concept has changed over time, but it's definitely one where I accept and love myself, because I'm so amazing, and I think you are amazing as well. And people who have a lower self-concept are more likely to comment on YouTube videos and tell people they need to lose weight or gain weight or be taller or be shorter, all those kind of wild things, right? So you don't want to be that person. It's important to sit with yourself and really define for yourself what beauty is. If you find yourself beautiful, if you find yourself intelligent, nurture yourself with kind, beautiful words. And one of the best ways you can do that is by listening to affirmations. So I have a lot of affirmation videos that have recently come out, and I'd love it if you would take a listen to them and see what you think. Feed yourself beautiful, positive information. Look at other people that look like you in a loving way. Celebrate them just like I celebrate their books on this channel, and grab a copy of this book. So the link to purchase it is in the comments. I'm sure you could also find it at your local library. But read this book and get a copy for a friend. It's a really good one, and I love that it truly defined different aspects of love from a Black woman's vantage point. So I don't know what you're going to do today, but I hope that it's something that brings you joy, and I will see you next time. Bye.